Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wealthy Life, a channel for your personal growth, awakening, and financial wisdom. Why do we judge kindness based on wealth? Why do we often think only the wealthy can afford to be kind? Why do we underestimate the warmth in the hands of the poor? Simply because their pockets are light. Is kindness a luxury or a choice? We live in a world where charity galas raise millions, and headlines praise billionaires for donations. Yet, we forget the elderly woman who shares her last bowl of rice, or the blue-collar worker who gives up a seat on a bus. Are these not acts of goodness, too? The truth is, kindness exists across all classes, just expressed differently. This divide in how we view kindness stems from our cultural wiring. We've been conditioned to believe that impact equals scale. So, when someone donates a hospital, we stand in awe. When someone offers emotional support or gives away half their meal, it's barely noticed. This bias is also fueled by visibility. Wealthy acts of charity are often documented, photographed, praised. Poorer acts are quieter, uncelebrated, but no less sincere. Yet, we must ask ourselves, is kindness only valid when it changes the world, or does it count just as much when it changes one person's moment? Rich kindness versus poor kindness. Different forms, same heart. Let's draw the line not between rich and poor, but between capacity and intent. The poor, kindness and scarcity. There's a story from a documentary where a rickshaw driver in India earns less than $3 a day. Yet, every Friday, he cooks a meal and shares it with a homeless man down his street. I know hunger, he says, so I can't let someone else go through it. That's not money speaking, that's empathy. In Les Miserables, Victor Hugo introduces us to Bishop Muriel, who let an ex-convict sleep at his home, and even gives him silverware after the man steals from him. The bishop wasn't rich, but his moral wealth transformed a life. This is the goodness of the poor, a kind of kindness born from shared pain, from knowing how it feels to be unseen. The rich, kindness with reach. On the other hand, we see people like Chuck Feeney, the billionaire who gave away 99% of his wealth while alive, living in a rented apartment. Or Keanu Reeves, quietly funding children's hospitals without attaching his name. This is the virtue of the wealthy, the ability to leverage resources at scale when done with humility. Goodness from the wealthy can be transformative, not just because of the dollars spent, but because of the intention behind them. When wealth is used to uplift without condescension, it becomes a powerful force. Why this disparity happens. So, why do we even separate kindness by class? 1. Social narratives. Media tends to glamorize big gestures. We grow up idolizing philanthropists, but not neighborhood heroes. 2. Insecurity and guilt. Sometimes the wealthy feel they must prove their goodness through grand acts. Meanwhile, the poor may feel their kindness doesn't count unless it's large. 3. Cynicism. We often suspect the rich of using charity for image. At the same time, we may romanticize poverty, assuming the poor are always generous and noble, which is also a stereotype. But ultimately, both rich and poor are just people, capable of love, selfishness, and growth. Solution: redefine what kindness looks like. The shift must happen in how we see kindness. 1. Measure by heart, not size. Giving a coat to a stranger in winter can be just as powerful as funding a shelter. 2. Celebrate everyday generosity. Share stories of waiters who pay for a customer's meal, or kids donating their toys. 3. Practice relational kindness. You don't need money to listen, to comfort, or to stand up for someone. 4. If you have more, do more. But don't forget, how you give matters just as much as what you give. There's a scene in the film The Pursuit of Happiness, where Chris Gardner, struggling with homelessness, gives his last dollar to a woman in need. She doesn't know he's broke, but he does and still chooses kindness. On the other hand, in Crazy Rich Asians, we see a different kind of benevolence, the power to sponsor scholarships, fund communities, and create long-lasting change. Both gestures come from compassion. Both matter. One is like offering an umbrella in the rain. The other is building a shelter. Neither cancels the other out. Kindness within our reach. In a divided world, perhaps the most radical act is to treat each other tenderly, regardless of status. Whether you give $1 or $1 million, offer a shoulder or an entire network, the question is the same. Did you get what you could from the heart? So no, kindness doesn't belong to the rich. And no, virtue isn't exclusive to those who struggle. Kindness belongs to the brave, those who choose softness in a hard world. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Let us all, rich or poor, throw our small pebbles of warmth into the sea of humanity. You never know how far the ripples might reach. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, like and share the video. May you soon discover your true direction in life.